This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you here on a Saturday. I was bragging on myself that I had gotten ready. We were ready to rock and roll with the show in time, and then I looked down, 12 seconds left, Mike. I've got 3 Tic Tacs still in my mouth. Had to get them out of there, but here we go, ready to go on a Saturday. I know you got bets, I got bets. We got all kinds of sports going on. Looking forward to today.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. You got a minute before the show starts, and you make a Full House reference. You don't even take the Tic Tacs out of your mouth. What are we doing here? Come on.
I was all over.
You got to come through for us.
I was all over.
We are packed today, though, man.
Yeah, I was all over the references, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh boy, the Tic Tacs got to go.
We are packed today, though. We got 2 game threes. We got a full baseball slate. We got college lacrosse going. Don't sleep on it. Penn State up 5-4 at half in the semifinals. Some people might even call this a Grandissimo show, Matt. I don't know. I heard people talking about it.
I see what you did right there. Munaf Manji is going to join us a little bit later. Aaron Halterman is going to join us, as is our very own Zach Cohen. So we are going to get multiple right there on your screen if you happen to be watching with us over on YouTube TV or on our VSiN Watch app. If you're just listening over on Sirius Channel 158, hello. Terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. Mike, we do have a first pitch, though, that is coming very rapidly, so we need to go ahead and get into that one, which is the Orioles at the Red Sox. I went ahead. I'm an idiot. I played the Orioles first 5 at -115. Dude, this team, they are starting to hit a little bit better. I will give them that. They're starting to do it. They're starting to strike out a little bit less as well. I took the first 5 as opposed to the full game because the bullpen is still complete garbage. And the bullpen for the Red Sox is actually pretty good. And so I'm going here with this team that actually is, like I said, maybe coming around. I know that it might be too, well, it's definitely too little too late at this point, considering how that division has shaped up, but they are starting to hit the ball a little bit better. I like Zach Eflin in this situation a little bit better than Hunter Dobbins. Hunter Dobbins, Mike, is a low strikeout, low walk guy. So basically he just throws it over the plate a ton. So, if you're going to be low strikeout, at least don't be high walk, but that just means he throws it over the plate a lot, and I'm expecting this Orioles team to get at him here. So give me the first 5 on the Orioles.
Well, I got some good news for everybody out there.
Yeah.
We are in a rain delay, so this one's going to start a little bit late, so you do have some extra time to be able to get this into your account. I got close to the Orioles, Matt, and then I looked at that 13-run inning they gave up yesterday, and I remembered that they're still not hitting the baseball at the level that I expect them to. If I was going to bet the O's, this would be the game today because you do have Eflin on the mound. You mentioned advantage on the pitching side. The juju around this Orioles team is almost impossible to price, though, because every time you think it's starting to turn, you have a day like yesterday where you give up 18 runs in 2 innings, and you're just like, what are we doing? What's going on here? And it's hard to figure out how to actually value that from a betting perspective and put that into numbers because I guarantee you they're not having fun in that clubhouse right now.
No, they cannot be having fun in that clubhouse because everybody went into this season thinking that this could actually be the year that they get it done. You and I have punted completely on this team. I know there's still a lot of baseball left to play, but 16-33, Mike, they would really, really have to go on a run. And honestly, I just don't think the pitching staff is there for them to get it done here, but I'll take the matchup today for this Orioles team. We should get to the fact that we do have playoffs today. Thunder at the Timberwolves. This is currently 2.5 in favor of the Thunder on the road. 218.5 is our total. If you think the Timberwolves win this thing outright, plus 120 for them here in this one. We got a couple of 2-0 series, Mike.
Yeah, we do. Look, I'm close. I'm close to pushing the -2.5 here on the Thunder, and I want to kind of follow this line as it goes. I'm a little worried it's going to go to 3 if I don't get this in soon enough here. You watch these 2 games in Oklahoma City, just the deeper, better basketball team in the Thunder, the defense at another level. Now, we did see the Timberwolves turn their defense up a couple times in previous series during the playoffs. I'm expecting we're going to see that again today, but the big question for me, what do we get from the offense here on the Timberwolves side? Are they going to be able to find ways to consistently score so that you don't have one of those 14-0, 13-1 type runs that we've seen from the Thunder throughout the first 2 games that were in Oklahoma City? So I lean toward the Thunder here. I lean toward the under at 218.5. I don't have either in my account yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty big lean to me towards the Thunder, and I think I'm probably going to get there, Mike. I mean, I know we like to do this whole thing of home teams that are down 0-2 and coming back home and they rally and they do much better and all that. But like you said, I just look at the personnel that's on the floor and look at this OKC team, and they are, in my opinion, just the far superior team in this one. And now I'm getting less than one possession. I mean, like you said, the 2.5, I mean, we're getting less than one possession here in this thing.
Yeah, the zigzag theory is very popular in basketball, right? You have a team that comes off a loss, they come back, they're able to win. The zigzag theory is based on teams being able to push buttons, to change things up, either defensive strategy, the way that they're going to play offense, their rotation, change something up that changes the outcome. They make the adjustment. The other team then has to adjust in game, and it's a little harder for them to adjust in game than to adjust over the 2 days of time. I'm not sure what buttons that Minnesota has left to push. Like, I don't know what they change here that makes a huge difference toward the outcome. Now, obviously, changing the home court, that does make a difference. You're going to see a little more emotion, a little more energy from Minnesota. But then the question is, what happens here once we get going? I'm kind of tempted to play in game here, Matt. Kind of want OKC to fall behind 6-8 points in the first quarter and then come in at plus 2.5 instead of minus 2.5 with OKC. Because I do think it's highly likely you have an opportunity in the first quarter or maybe end of the first half to be able to get OKC at plus money on the money line, or maybe plus a couple points, because we do see a good first half from Minnesota.
On the other side here, the Pacers take a 2-0 lead. They got it done 114-109 against the Knicks last night, Mike. And I mean, you know, this is where I had the handicap wrong. I said I thought there were more outs over on the Knicks side of things, and then you get Pascal Siakam show up as if he's Pascal Siakam from 6 years ago. Scores 39 points on 15 and 23 shooting in this one, and so does become another firepower there for this Pacers squad. And so, again, wrong read for me. I don't think the Knicks are totally dead in this one. If I had to take one of the teams that was down 0-2 to win the series, obviously it would be the Knicks. I would not be looking on the other side of all of this, but you never like to lose the first two at home.
No, not a great sign. I agree with you. If you're going to take one of the two teams down 0-2, it's clearly the Knicks. Look, going into this series, I thought this was just a dead coin flip. Talked about it a little bit on last weekend's show. I've got some Pacers plus 145 for the series because of that. But it feels like the Pacers won 2 coin flip games, Matt.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't the Knicks now win 2 coin flip games, right? So to me, this is one of those series where I'm not ready to completely write it off. I do think we end up going back to New York 3-1. I think that's the most likely scenario here. And then the question is, can New York extend at home? And then can they extend throughout, or again, in Indianapolis to make this a 7-game series if they want to try and win? So if I'm interested in the Knicks, I'm playing Knicks in 7. If I'm interested in the Pacers, I kind of want to look at the over 5.5 games from a series market perspective, because if you can get the over game number, I think it makes a little bit more sense. And right now, you can get like 6 games is plus 300 for this series, 7 games plus 350. So you're getting plus money to go over that 5.5 game mark in a series that I think likely goes back 3-1 to the Garden.
Yeah, we'll talk about this game a lot more tomorrow, but that is sitting 2 right now in favor of the Pacers at home, 223. The total, if you like the Knicks on the money line, about plus 115 out there on that one. Over on the ice, Mike, I know this is something you want to talk about here. The Edmonton Oilers even it up 1-1 with the Dallas Stars after the Dallas Stars' miraculous third period that they had in game number 1. How does this series look to you right now?
I mean, first off, golf clap to Knobloch, the coach of the Oilers, who made phenomenal defensive changes, something you don't hear with the Oilers very often, heading from game 1 to game 2, took what they saw specifically in the third in game 1, made adjustments into game 2, and was able to keep the Dallas Stars off the board. The Oilers also able to really stretch the ice when McDavid was on the ice. He doesn't score a goal, but he makes it so much harder to defend everybody else who is out there. He made a big difference in this game too. Headed back to Edmonton 1-1. I still like the Stars in this series, but I have been discounting the Oilers every step of the way. I thought they would lose in round 1. I thought they would lose in round 2. I'm shocked they were able to play defense in the manner that they did last night to be able to keep Dallas off the board. So I've got some Dallas futures tickets to win the Cup, to win the East. We gave out the Dallas to win the East 2 weeks ago here on this show, plus money. So I'm still riding those, but I'm starting to get a little nervous around this Oilers team because they played very, very well in structure on the defensive side last night.
Yeah, I mean, I know anything can happen, and certainly a period in hockey is long, but it feels like the Dallas should be down 0-2 in this series right now, and so I'm glad to hear that did not change your opinion here, and you're sticking to your guns.
Yeah, look, it could much easily be 0-2 or 2-0 Edmonton than 2-0 Dallas. You were definitely correct about that. Dallas needed that third period to be able to get it going. I still think they're the deeper team, specifically offensively. They have the better goaltender. Now it's the question of how do you adjust going to Edmonton? How are you going to be able to handle that road crowd? And can you get it back to Dallas 2-2? If you can, I think Dallas still has a great shot in this series. I think they should be the favorite in this series. If we do go back to game 5, 2-2, the question is, can you get it there? Can you take one on the road? It's going to be tough. This is a very good Oilers team that just keeps playing above their skis, and you got to give them credit for it. They're playing better than the parts. They're playing to that potential that you'd like to see in the playoffs. So hard to knock Edmonton at this point, but I do think Dallas is still the more complete, better hockey team.
And this is not necessarily a betting note here, Mike. This is just a what in the hell is going on type of deal. The Los Angeles Angels, if you look at the standings, are 25-25. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games, and that 8 is actually 8 in a row. They are on an 8-game win streak. Of course, Mike Trout not even out there for the Angels with all of this. I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to fall off, but yeah, it's a story. It's a story nonetheless.
300-1 to win the World Series, Matt.
There you go.
Why not? Take a shot.
Take a shot. I just need Trout to get back in there and hit some home runs. That's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need. Yeah, maybe you play the Rangers plus 380 if you like that. Maybe this helps division prices of other teams if you think the Angels can somehow sustain this for a couple more days. But yeah, I'm not scared of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
When we come back, we'll continue talking some Major League Baseball. Munaf Manji from pregame.com. It is Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown and Mike Somich on a Saturday. Continuing our Major League Baseball conversation on the Progressive Guest Line. Munaf Manji joining us here from pregame.com at SportsNerd8240 on the Twitter machine. Munaf, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, guys. How you guys doing? Not really a dog days of the summer quite yet. We still got some playoffs going on, but glad to be talking some baseball with you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, it is certainly in July. Maybe we'll be a little fatigued of baseball, but right now still fresh for me. Anyway, we were talking a little bit about the Angels and this win streak and things going on without Trout out there and all of that. What do you make of just that division in general?
Yeah, it's been, I think, a shocker to say the least, the way that it started. I know there was a lot of love for the Rangers this season, but that offense, or at least for that division, at least I should say, for the Rangers, but the offense has just been atrocious to start the season. Are they going to be able to turn it around? I mean, you're hoping so. They've been one of the more profitable teams towards the under there. But you mentioned the Angels. What, they won 8 games in a row, I believe. Yeah. The offense looks good. 8-2 of their last 10 games. But I think the biggest shock for me has been how good the Mariners have been, especially on the offensive side, when there were so many questions and concerns on why they didn't really do anything in the offseason to address the offense, right? But here they are. They've scored 234 runs on the season. That's the most in the AL West. So it's going to be a fun division to watch, that's for sure. I mean, you have 4 teams separated by 5 games, but I have a feeling that the Angels may fall off come sooner rather than later. But good for them for winning 8 in a row here.
Now, what do we make of this Baltimore Orioles team? Matt came in and he bet them this morning in the first game of this doubleheader with Eflin on the hill. He's pitched very well. Dobbins on the hill for Boston has struggled. So I understand it from a pitching perspective, but it's been a real struggle for me to figure out how to price this Orioles team, which is clearly playing worse than the sum of the parts, but none of them are hitting. So what are you doing with the Orioles right now?
It's really so when we went back and you talk about that at the beginning of the season, right, when they lost Corbin Burns, another team that didn't do much to address their pitching. And when you're relying on Charlie Morton, they had bought in Kyle Gibson. I mean, that's not going to get it done. But honestly, I didn't see this of a significant fall for this team. I mean, they've given up 287 runs on the season. They gave up 19 yesterday to the Boston Red Sox in that game, which was supposed to be a doubleheader, but weather's not cooperating out there in Boston there. But I mean, I think the season is long. Look, we've seen crazier things happen, but when you don't have pitching, especially regular season come postseason, you're not going to win very many ball games. So I think this season may just be a wash for the Orioles. I mean, there's still 100 plus games left to play, but when you don't have Grayson Rodriguez and, Charlie Morton, he got DFA'd, and Kyle Gibson, guys like that you're relying on, it just hasn't been pretty. And the offense, as bad as the pitching has been, I think you've probably been more shocked about how bad the offense has been, because Adley Rutschman hasn't been good. I know Gunnar Henderson missed the beginning of the season. He came back, but it's a 1-9 lineup, right? You can't rely on just one or two guys in that lineup to produce runs for you. So Cedric Mullins has been one of the bright spots for that team. But I mean, come trade deadline, is there a possibility that there's a team that comes knocking on the door to the Orioles and said, hey, let us have, or we'll trade for Cedric Mullins, and this season could be a wash for them. So, 16-33. I mean, that's Chicago White Sox territory, guys. Chicago White Sox have 16 wins thus far this season. So, unfortunately for them, look, as much as we've all been excited about the Orioles, this season just might not be them. You regroup in the offseason, address the pitching number one, and come back next season and see what happens with this team, because the talent's definitely there.
Seattle heading to Houston. This is Brian Wu versus Framber Valdez. This is currently about a coin flip, a little bit shaded towards the Mariners there on the road. How are you looking to play this one?
Yeah, I do like the under in this game. It was hovering around 7.5 at the morning parts. I know it's starting to move towards a 7 here. Maybe you find a juiced under 7.5 on that number. But no, both of these offense, especially for the Astros, has really been struggling. They don't have their best they don't have their best hitter in Yordan Alvarez. Didn't get a lot of great news about his hand injury there a couple of days ago. So it looks like he'll miss more time here for this Astros team. And when healthy, we know that he's one of the best hitters in all of Major League Baseball there. But when Framber's been on the mound, especially at home for this Astros team, it's been a very profitable angle towards the under, I should say. If we go back to last season, when Framber Valdez has made starts at the juice box, 11-7-2 towards the under. That's about 61.1%. And then he's made 4 starts this season in Houston for this Astros team, and those 4 starts, the unders at 3-1 at 75% there. So I know that believe the game got over yesterday. They did score 8 runs between those two teams. It was on a couple of runs that the Mariners put up late there, but I do think that this will be a pitching battle. Brian Wu has been pretty good as well. Framber at home has been very good as well. So I think we could see a little bit of a pitcher duel here. Won't be surprised if it's like a 3-2, 4-2 type of final, but I do like the under 7.5 in this game, guys.
Yeah, I was looking at the first 5 under in this spot. There's some rogue under 4s, first 5. If you can still find one of those out there, I would recommend going that direction too. I do think this is going to be a pitcher's matchup. Now, later in the day, we've got the Guardians taking on the Tigers, and Casey Mize was pitching, then he wasn't pitching. Now we don't know if he's pitching, but we do know that Luis Ortiz is going to be on the hill for the Guardians. Tigers minus 130, Guardians coming back the other way, plus 110. What do you like here?
Yeah, it's really just me fading Luis Ortiz here. So I was hoping it would be Casey Mize. I believe he missed his last start. So he's coming off the IL there for the Tigers there. Tigers also coming off a loss yesterday on Friday night to this Guardians team. But 2 ways you can attack it. Either you take Tigers money line or you just take their team total to go over in this game. I know a lot of people don't like betting team totals on a home team because you're not guaranteed all 9 at bats here. But Luis Ortiz, he hasn't been very good, to say the least, especially on the road thus far this season. Early in the season against the Padres, he got into trouble, giving up, I believe, like 6 or 7 runs in that game. In his last road start, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. The problem with Luis Ortiz is that he's going to give up the home run ball because he's given up a home run in each of his last 3 starts there for this Guardians pitching staff there. So I like the Tigers team total over here. They were limited on offense last night, but I think it's a good bounce back spot for them. Hopefully Casey Mize does get the start here. If he's able to go 5 innings for this Tigers team, that would be fantastic. But I do like the Tigers to win this game and their team total to go over in this matchup against Luis Ortiz and the Guardians.
Talking Munaf Manji from pregame.com. The Giants are on the road at the Nationals. Kyle Harrison versus Jake Irvin. Minus 162 Giants on the road, plus 136 Nats at home. 8.5 is our total, but you are looking to play this one a little bit differently.
Yeah, run line here for the Giants. I mean, they've been an absolute machine this season. I know they've struggled a little bit on the road, but as much as we talked about the AL West, guys, this NL West is also going to be a lot of fun to watch. You already have 4 teams in that division that have won 26 plus games, right? Obviously, Dodgers leading right now with 32, Giants right there, 2 games behind the Dodgers. So the Nationals have been a fun team. They're going to be a very good team going into the future. They have a lot of young pieces there, especially when they made the trade with Juan Soto involved. Those guys that they got back, they're paying huge dividends for this Nationals team. But the pitching staff has been really good for this Giants team. Offense has been one of the bright spots as well for them. It's just also a fate of Jake Irvin for me. I don't really trust him when it comes to these spots here against a competent team, or I should say above average team this season, and the offense there. So you take a look at Jake Irvin this season overall, when he's made the start, he's given up runs there. So if you want to double up here, you're the road team. You get all 9 at-bats with the Giants here if you look at their team total to go over. But I do like the -1.5, getting you some plus odds on that run line price there. I'm not a guy that likes to lay more than 140 on a money line in the MLB. But when we talk about the Giants on the run line here, getting some plus odds there, I definitely would be on that, and I am on that.
Now, I can't help but notice the background there. You've got the nice Texans banner behind you. You've got the picture of the Texans. One of my favorite bets this year, Texans to win their division plus 115. Are we winning the division this year? Is that a safe one, or you think that someone else can sneak up there?
I think it's the Texans division to lose. The story for the Texans has been, before they move to a 17-game schedule, it's always going 9-7 or 9-8 or 10-7 and winning the AFC South division, then losing in the wild card weekend there. That's the storyline for this Texans team. But the biggest concern for this Texans team was the offensive line. I think they did a pretty good job of addressing that this offseason. Obviously, when you have a franchise quarterback and the future franchise quarterback, when CJ Stroud, you want to do everything you can to protect him. And he took a lot of sacks last season. The question mark you still have is at the wide receiver spot, because we don't know when you're going to get Tank Dell back. Obviously, you have Nico Collins there for this Texans team. But if you look at this division in totality, guys, it's one of obviously the weaker divisions. So it's the Texans division to lose. I think the only competition will probably be the Colts, Jaguars with new head coach Trevor Lawrence. How much do you believe in him? And then Cam Ward coming in for the Titans. Yeah, it's going to be exciting for them, but I think that it is a Texans division to lose. So if you're able to find those plus odds on this Texans team, trying to be as non-biased as possible, guys, but it is their division to lose.
He's Munaf Manji. Find him over at pregame.com. Munaf, appreciate the time, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Guys, as always, a reminder, you want to be with us for an entire year? Well, guess what? We're going to make you stick around for 2 extra months. You get 14 months for $199. Every single thing that we do over at VSiN.com. All the bets, all the splits, all the guides, all the everything. VSiN Watch app as well. VSiN.com/subscribe. $199 for 14 months.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich in a rain delay over in Boston. But, Mike, they look like they are trotting out onto the field right now. So we're going to get this thing rocking and rolling. Just a little bit of a delayed first pitch there to make sure that we didn't have to stop it at any point. Kevin Roth, who we've had on the network several different times, said he believes that if that they're going to be able to get both of them in. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything that will affect the rest of the day. So a little bit of a delay, but Hunter Dobbins is on the hill there for the Red Sox. The thing is going to get going. I did play first 5 on the Orioles. Tell me how stupid I am.
I mean, you're not wrong with the angle here. It's so hard to price the Orioles right now just because of what we have seen from them over the last couple days and how they played all season. You can't really, it's hard to figure out how to price this offense because the offense hasn't been very good. The bullpen's been awful. They're a team where, like, if you took my priors at the start of the year, this is a bet every single day of the week in the first 5 for the Orioles. But because of the adjustments I've made, I'm right around the number, and I don't know if I'm pricing them correctly. So it's just a tough team to bet and figure out right now.
On the Red Sox side of things, no Bregman in the lineup, and actually Cora came out and said that he is, quote, moving closer to possible IL stint for Bregman there in that one, Mike. So at least one of the big bats not in there for the Red Sox.
Yeah, tough break for him. Gets injured just rounding first base. Looked like he was trying to extend a single off the Green Monster into a double and just kind of pulls up lame and throws his helmet down and immediately walks off. That's never a good sign when it's a non-contact, just running injury.
And your Cedric Mullins is definitely going to get traded. So just so you know, like Cedric Mullins, like
he's going.
You better hope he lands in a good spot, because he is definitely headed somewhere. There's no doubt about that. One quick look here at the Charles Schwab that's happening over there in Fort Worth. Ben Griffin, Matty Schmid are 4 strokes clear of all of the guys behind them. They are sitting at 13 under. Novak, Goddard, Batia, and John Pack. Yeah, John Pack. They're all 9 under, so they're 4 strokes back right now. Scotty Scheffler actually has a round going today, even though he did bogey his last hole that he played. He was at 6 under on the day. He's at 5 under now. Already gotten back up there to T13. Mike, we kind of know how this is going to go. He might not win, but he's going to shoot 5 or 6 under again tomorrow and top 5 this thing, because, that's just what he does. He wakes up, rolls out of bed, and shoots 5 under and just top 10s every event he plays.
Yeah, pretty crazy. He was 18-1 to start the day. I saw him as high as 22-1 in some places. You get plus money, big time plus money on top 5. I kind of wish I bet it. I did bet, I can't pronounce the dude's last name. I bet Ryu before the tournament, 125-1 because I had like 2 people text me and tell me that he was a worthwhile guy to play. So I've got a piece of him to win the tournament. So I got at least a little sweat here, Matt.
His Satsune is what I've heard the majority of people say. So that could be wrong, but his Satsune, is how
we'll go with that.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Is how I've heard it. The most people say it, but we'll see about all that. Okay, guys, everything that we do here is based around horse racing. Y'all know that. I mean, like, if Mike is on the show, we just have to talk horse racing multiple times throughout the course of the day. But let's start things out over on the ice.
Technical regulation size are what? It's time to ask Mike Somich, what the Don't you ever touch my foot!
All right, Mike, it's fewer and fewer bets for you to make. It's whittling down here. The segment is going to die soon, at least as we know it, and there will just be only the pony up part of all of this. But while we still have hockey going on, you still got bets going into the account. What you looking at?
Yeah, I should have put college lacrosse in here. I'm still trying to get you to talk about it. Phenomenal game right now. Penn State, Cornell got Syracuse plus a goal and a half in the second game against Maryland today. We're going to the ice. We only got 1 game. And before I get into this, Matt, can we petition the NBA and the NHL to have the Western Conference Finals in each conference, or the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals in basketball on different days? So we don't have Pacers, Knicks, and Oilers and Stars playing every night, because those are the 2 games I want to watch. I don't really care about either of these, because it feels like the Panthers are going to absolutely stomp on the Hurricane, and the OKC Thunder are going to take care of business against Minnesota. So we need to flip those around just to improve our viewing pleasure. But let's try and make some money here on the ice. And let's start out with the Florida Panthers in regulation here. I don't know what dials Carolina turns to become a better hockey team than what we've seen the first couple games. The Panthers are simply a better version, a more offensive version of what the Carolina Hurricanes want to do. They're going to try and consistently put pressure on the defense to create offensive opportunities. The problem is that's exactly what Florida does too, and they're very good getting the puck out of their zone. And when you have Florida hemming in Carolina on the forecheck, you have quality offensive players consistently getting offensive opportunities. Now, no Sam Bennett tonight. That obviously hurts the Panthers, but it sounds like it's a day-to-day injury. Shouldn't be a long-term issue for them. But they still just have so much more offensive talent than the Hurricanes, who are rolling out, Sebastian Aho, and who are rolling out guys like Svechnikov, but they just don't have the depth that the Panthers have. So let's take Florida in regulation plus 100. And then to the same note, I think the Hurricanes going to have a hard time getting the puck past Bobrovsky in the first period specifically. You can get their under team total, under a half goal in the first period. That is minus 110 out there. So instead of taking the first period under at minus 1.5, I just went with Carolina's team total under a half goal there in the first period. I think they continue to struggle, and I think you see a Florida team that comes out at home very, very motivated to just step on the throat and try and end the series early.
And as we do, we have to this is the requisite segment here. As long as you are forever on this network, Mike, we have to talk horse racing. Here's what happened, guys. I don't know if you know or not. He hit the superfecta for the Kentucky Derby. And so what happens is at that point now, in perpetuity, he will talk about horse racing. He'll go, let's head to the track.
Saddle up, partner. Want to bet the horses with Mike Somich?
When I bet on horses, I never lose. Why? I bet on all the horses.
It's time to pony up. Giddy up.
All seriousness, though, Mike, I know people want to win the Kentucky Derby and they want to play the big races, but a dollar is a dollar is a dollar, and they all pay out the same, and the races happen every single day. And if you bet $5 and an exacta hits, you're still going to get paid like in the same amount of money that you get for all of these other ones. So let's go ahead and let's make some money today. It doesn't have to be a big race.
No, it doesn't. But we do have a lot of very fun races today at Santa Anita. It's Cal Cup Day, so they've got a bunch of state-bred stakes races for California-bred horses. We'll start out with the 7th race with an absolutely phenomenal name, Matt. I know you're on your phone trying to find a trifecta because you like this name so much. So race number 7, the 7-horse Miso Fancy, but it's miso like miso soup and fancy with a PH. Phenomenal name here for this horse. So we're going to take the 7 Miso Fancy here, 3-1 on the morning line for Leonard Powell. Umberto Rispoli rides. This horse has been very competitive in the state bred level on the turf, and then was in a open company grade 3 last time out, just missed by a nose. Now dropping back to the state level company. The reason we're getting 3-1 is because this is a dirt race. So this is the first time that Miso Fancy will try the dirt. But when you look at the breeding, it completely fits. When you look at Powell's numbers going from turf to dirt, he's 20% win rate. That fits. The pace setup should be perfect for Miso Fancy, who wants to sit mid-pack and then roll. I think it's all systems go for a turf horse transitioning over to the dirt and taking on much weaker company today than last time out in the grade 3 honeymoon. So let's go Miso Fancy, the 7-horse. It's 7th race at Santa Anita, 3-1 on the morning line, Matt.
So looking here at this race, just although the top to bottom here, Mike, like, so we've got a 5-2, a 9-2, a 3-1, a 4-1, a 6-1, an 8-1, and then a 10-1. So not even really any long shot in this race. Is there any reason in particular that all of these horses are so bunched together?
Well, so State Bred Company immediately makes it a little more competitive, right? And this is 3-year-old State Bred Company. So you don't have the depth of information to back up your opinions on a lot of these horses. Some of them have not gone the distance. Some of them have yet to try and run on the dirt. Some of them have been consistently running shorter on the turf. So it's all these different question marks that come into these horses. But that also means that you don't have any horses that have a race at this distance over this surface that is dominant. And because of that, you're not going to see a dominant favorite. A lot of times the public will want to see multiple efforts at the distance over that surface before you see a horse go off at 4-5, 3-5, a shorter price. And that means everyone's much more involved in the race as well. I do like the 4 at 10-1. The longest shot on the board is a horse that can hit the board underneath. I think that's your speed to the inside. So the 4 I do think is a little interesting, but the 7 Miso Fancy is going to be your winner, Matt.
What do we like in number 8?
Head to one race afterward here. This is another California State Bred Stakes race. We're going to go a mile on the turf course. It's $100,000. And this one, I do like the favorite. Kings River Knight here. The 4-horse is a short price at 4-5 on the morning line and is a deserving favorite. I think is able to get the win. The question is who runs second? Give me the number 6-horse Clouseau here. 9-2 on the morning line. Clearly your best closer, a horse that went to turf after the claim last time out, improved significantly, but has the back class on the turf side as well. Now you get second off the claim, second time on the turf course with the pace set up in front. I think this goes 4-6 cold. So we're going to play the 4-6 exacta. 4 with 6. We're not boxing it, just 4-6 straight exacta there in race number 8 at Santa Anita.
Santa Anita race number 7, the 7-horse. Santa Anita race number 8, exacta 4 and 6. If you want to bet these along with Mike, of course, First Bet is the place to go and get that done. 1stbet.com, firstbet.com. Go in, use the promo code VEASAN200. When you do, you will get a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. You can do it from your phone. You can do it from your computer. You can watch the races right there inside the app. Firstbet.com, promo code VEASAN200.
To Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich. The good. Baltimore scored 2 runs in the first inning to take a 2-0 lead.
Go.
The bad. They've already given up 1 run here in the bottom of the first, and now they might be pausing this thing again. I don't know if there was a lightning strike or some sort of something like that. So looks like they might have been a bit premature in getting this thing started out there. Looks like they are getting the guys off the field right now. So unfortunate there, Mike, because as we talk about, sometimes once you get going and then depending on how long the delay is, they don't want these starting pitchers to go back out there. So I don't know how this is going to get played or exactly what's going on, but they're dumping fresh dirt onto the plate, onto the mound, and then where the base pass where the guys run. So it looks like it had just gotten a little too sloppy out there.
Yeah, that's brutal for you specifically because you're betting this game because you like Eflin, right? And if you get 2 pitches and you give up a solo shot and then we go into a rain delay, he may not come back out after the rain delay, which completely ruins your handicap, right? It's one of the struggles that when you're betting some of these games with the weather and you're specifically handicapping starting pitching, this is the worst case scenario because Dobbins you wanted to bet against and Eflin you wanted to bet on, and now you don't know if you're going to get more than 3 outs from the 2 of them combined in this spot.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. The guys are running around like madmen out there holding like bags of dirt. It's great if you happen to be watching this one alongside what we've got going on out there as well. But again, Mike, those Santa Anita races, just for people that want to get involved, those aren't until later this afternoon, correct?
Oh, yeah. You got plenty of time. Your first post is going to be 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern for race number 1. And we're playing race number 7 and race number 8. So plenty of time to get involved there. Great Twilight event here. If you're out on the East Coast, you want a little Twilight ponies, Santa Anita, great place to look. Phenomenal card on Monday as well for Memorial Day. There'll be an article up on the site for some of my best bets on Memorial Day as well if you're looking to get involved there.
Oklahoma City and Minnesota, Mike, we talked about this was 2.5 whenever we came on air. There is 2.5s left out there in the market, 3 everywhere else. So that lets you know where this is headed. Those 2.5s are at MGM and behind me here at Circa. Of course, Circa does have books in other states if you have Circa availability. But that is now juiced to 115 on that 2.5. So it does look like we're at least going to get to 3 before this thing goes, which is kind of how we saw it moving all along. So money coming in now on Oklahoma City. Still plenty of time before this thing tips. So maybe that is a tell here that people wanted to scoop that up while it was still less than 1 possession.
I just got my 2.5, Matt. Yeah. I mentioned I was leaning that way. I was worried we might not get 2.5. If it might not stay too long. When you mentioned just 2 books left, I started scouring. We were able to find one that I can play. And so we've got Thunder 2.5 in the account now. Yeah,
218 and a half. That said, Caesars just hit 219 out there. So just interesting. There's a full point difference in the market if you did want to get involved with the total there in that one. All right, so Mike, we had a segment that we thought was pretty good, so we wanted to roll it back out again, the bet it or book it. And so the kind of what we're trying to do here is we take whatever the market is that we're talking about, and we look at it, and we're like, you know what, I would actually bet that, or actually I'd like to be on the other side of it, and I'd like to book that bet. And so we went in with some NFL kind of win total stuff here on the drive for week 5. It is called. There is this market is over at DraftKings again. Mike, it's so crazy. We're sitting here in May in like the NFL markets that you can already bet. It's just I mean, it is amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, these sports books getting more creative, trying to find more ways to tie up our money for 5 months, Matt. And let me tell you, the first one, they found a way to tie up my money for the first 5 months. Bet it or book it. The Cleveland Browns, 0 wins after week 5, plus 340. Bet it. In fact, I did bet it. I went out and bet this after I saw it. Their first 5 games versus the Bengals, at the Ravens, versus the Packers, at the Lions, versus the Vikings. They're not winning at Detroit or in Baltimore. So that means versus Bengals, versus Packers, versus Lions. The game I think they have the best chance at winning, probably game 1 against the Bengals, and it's a week 1 rookie starter most likely in Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel. I think the versus Packers is going to be tough week 3. I think the versus Vikings in London is going to be tough. Give me no wins through 5 weeks here. I'll bet the plus 340 on the Browns going 0-5 to start the year.
Yeah, I actually think that this is a pretty good bet when you look at everything, because their most likely win is probably week 5 actually. And so with that, Mike, I mean, if you get them to 0-4, if you wanted to, you could even hedge the thing a little bit if you felt so inclined. And because if you look at the way that schedule is right out of the gate, are we in love with Cincinnati and what they did on the defensive side of the ball, or what they didn't do on the defensive side of the ball? I don't think it's really going to matter in week 1 against the Browns, so I think you get by there. At Ravens, not going to be a win. Packers early on in the season, as long as, should be healthy as they're going to be. So Packers there, and then at Lions, that's not a win. So first likelihood, there's week 5, Vikings over in London. Again, if you're 0-4 at that point already and you've got the 340 in the account, if you wanted to, you could just insure a steak dinner if you wanted to go that way. So yeah, I mean, this one's definitely a bet it.
Yeah, I definitely would not want to book it. We'll put it that way. It's 100% bet it or pass. And I actually, like I said, I put this one in the account. I put the next one in the account too, Matt.
Saints 0 wins through the first 5 games plus 450. So nearly 5-1 here on this New Orleans Saints team that I think is going to be absolute garbage. I think is going to be trying to race to the top of the draft board this year. But, hey, look, Mike, I mean, it's, teams stumble into wins. So what do we think here in this through week number 5 with the Saints?
Bet it at plus 450 because I like the Arizona Cardinals more than the market. That's their week 1 matchup. Week 2, they take on the 49ers. Those 2 are home games. I don't think they win either of those. Then they have to go to Seattle, go to Buffalo. Those are both losses on the road. The week 5 game here to me is the same strategy you just mentioned with the previous setup with the Cleveland Browns. I see 0-4 in their future. Week 5, they're against the Giants at home. That is a very winnable football game. That is where you can hedge out of some of this if you want and make sure you're guaranteeing yourself a steak dinner. I like this New Orleans Saints team to start out 0-4. And then if I have to bet New Orleans in week 5 on the money line to make sure I guarantee a profit, fine. At plus 450, I'm willing to get that in the account.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. I know people are going to look at that and say like West Coast teams, heading over to New Orleans, et cetera, et cetera. Like it early on in the season I'm not saying home field advantage. It doesn't exist, Mike, but I mean, it's neutralized at least a little bit. Week number 1, the Cardinals can head over to New Orleans whenever they want to. Like that's not a big deal. And then again, week number 2, it's the travel that we're really worried about and how it's going to affect these teams and stuff is more as the season gets going. Right. And so it's the 49ers heading over. Sure. It is a West Coast team heading over and playing in the central time zone. I'm not too worried about that at all. And then those back-to-back road games, they're going to lose. They're going to lose in Seattle and they're going to lose in Buffalo for sure. So yeah, it comes down to week number 5 against the Giants and you probably get a price there as well. And yeah, you insure yourself some money.
Yeah, I like this one too. And when you're trying to predict the exact number of wins, it feels like 0, a lot easier number to predict than like 3 or 4, which we'll get to in a minute here. But I like it when it's 0 here with these bad teams because it's a good way to fade them right out of the gate, especially with rookie quarterbacks, because this is another team most likely going to have a rookie quarterback starting.
They threw dirt on the field, got it going again. Eflin threw 1 pitch, it left the yard. It's 2-2 now. He's given up 2 solo. He's given up 2 solo homers right off the bat here. So it's back to even here. Baltimore gets him 2 runs in support and back to even 2-2 there in the bottom of the first inning. So hopefully he had the over going in that one. Raiders 3 wins at plus 310, Mike, through the first 5 games of the season. Like I said, I'm not in love with this Raiders team, but anytime you can at least put a competent quarterback under center, it does raise the floor for me for what I think that you can be. And I think Geno Smith is a competent quarterback. We know the ceiling is not very high, but the floor is pretty high.
Yeah, the floor is pretty high. And this is exactly 3 wins, correct? So yes. Exactly 3-2 through 5 weeks. I would book this one. I think this is a little tougher of a schedule than it necessarily looks like. I do think you're going to have a better Raiders team. You've got a competent head coach. You've got a competent quarterback. But at Patriots is not an easy one to start. I think the Chargers are a good football team. That's week 2. Then you have to take on the Commanders on the road. That's a tough game. Then you've got a much improved Bears team at home, which, by the way, the Chicago's going to travel very well to Vegas for that game. And then you got to go on the road to the Colts. I think 1-4, 2-3, much more likely. So I would book this one.
I'd rather be on the other side of this one as well. I like the Patriots, I think, more than people do. And at home, week 1, all focus on the Raiders, too. You got to like that spot a little bit better for the Patriots as well. Chargers are going to be good. We know that. Commanders should be one of the better teams out there. I'm with it. There might only be 1 win there. Yeah. On that
like
first
I said,
5
2
games.
and 3 or 1 and 4, much more likely than 3 and 2 in that spot.
We got a big announcement over the course of the week here at Circa. Mike, we will talk about that a little bit in the next segment. If you guys want to come out here and you want to hang and you want to see what it's all about, Derek and company have you covered. $400 all-in pricing. I mean, you go in, you lay down $400 bills, and then you walk away. No more fees, no more anything like that, and you get 2-night hotel stay, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and a day bed up at Stadium Swim. You get this all at circalasvegas.com. It is a $400 all-in price. Not going to get nickel and dimed on that 2-night hotel stay, a $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and a day bed up at Stadium Swim. Go book it today, circalasvegas.com.